I used to be under impression that I'd get made fun of and bullied, but I have not. People have actually like, oh, that's cool, you know? Those colors are cool in your ears, and it's just something different, and I embrace that. My name is Ryan Fuller. I go to Eureka High School in Eureka, Illinois, and I'm a sophomore there currently.
My name's Stephanie. I'm Ryan's mom. I work as an ICU nurse at Carl. He had actually failed his newborn hearing test. They had repeated it, kind of had some inconclusive results, didn't think much of it for a couple of years. But when we put him into preschool, he was a little irritable after school, exhausted, and the teacher had noticed a few instances where he just wasn't picking up what she was saying. So that's when we met with our ENT and eventually got referred over to the audiologist. Oh man, those were some hard days for me. I had never been around anybody that had any type of hearing loss other than grandpa, you know. Never grew up with any kids that had hearing aids. So to me, I was terrified. I was trying to imagine what life was going to be like for him. Was he going to completely lose his hearing? Would people make fun of him? Was he going to get bullied? You know, just the whole path. Very, very overwhelming. And I don't know. It was hard as a mom. You want your kid to have the best of everything, and I was fearful that it wasn't going to be that way for him. And after our first appointment that we survived because you were a 3-year-old wild child, it was definitely worth it. It was evident from the get-go that they were so caring and compassionate and patient with a young guy like him.
Actually, I got to choose it when I was young. Like when I got my first one, I got Buzz Lightyear colors. So white, green, and red. I mean, not red, blue. Yep.
We always had a theme.
Yeah.
It was the big thing in the house. It was like naming a pet. We would almost take votes from grandma and grandpa. And, you know, what's the theme going to be this year? So kept his friends involved too. Like they got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
For one, I thought a hearing test was really quick. I remember as a kid, you just went in there, you listened for the beeps. It was like 5 minutes and you were out. That is not the case. They are looking at like how well you're comprehending words, trying to assess your hearing loss and hearing type, and all that takes a lot of time. So to get him to sit still for an hour sometimes was impossible. But they did so good with that. Once all the results were in, he definitely had hearing loss just on one side at the time. But she had let us know from the get-go that, hey, I think this is probably something progressive and we got to prepare for losing hearing on the left side too. I was devastated, a lot of tears. And looking back now, it's kind of funny to me because I don't know what I was so worried about. I mean, he's wonderful, but you just want the best for your kids. And I'm like, man, what are we going to do? And she just put my mind at ease. She's like, hey, there's lots of kids that have hearing aids. It's so much different than what you remember. And just really made me feel comfortable mom to mom.
It was second grade, and I remember having a rough time in school, and a lot of things were like, it was hard to learn and do basic stuff and hear my friends. And I remember going to the audiologist, and they said I need another hearing aid. And I went there and got the new hearing aid, and I remember just feeling so awesome. I believe we went home and watched a movie, and I could hear it just perfect. And going to school, all my friends thought they were cool, and I could understand everybody, and I've had a better time since.
And I think the biggest moment for me was when she hooked up, it was headphones hooked up to some kind of program, and she like dialed in what his hearing levels were, and I could hear as best as I could exactly what he was hearing. And I'm like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought. I mean, not perfect, but I definitely had a better understanding of what was going on and just more at ease with how to navigate it at that point. As a mom, the thing that really bothered me was him not hearing my voice. And oh man, I was a hot mess over that. Like, I love him. I just want him to always have the comfort of mom's voice, even when I'm yelling at you. So for him, or for me to know that, yeah, he can hear stuff, we got to make some adaptations, but it's going to be okay.
I can't hear on my right side, so a lot of the things that I hear around me, I think, are on my left side. So I can still hear, but it's really quiet. A lot of things are really quiet and more mumbled, like you're wearing headphones, kind of.
It's actually kind of frightening how well he can read lips. My husband and I figured out really quick, like, we couldn't just mouth words back and forth to each other, or like, especially at Christmas time when you're trying to talk about gifts and you're being all secretive, and he would pick up right away exactly what we were saying. I'm like, oh, we got to find a different method.
I know COVID hit me hard, and it was really hard. It's hard anyways to understand with the mask on, but my teachers actually improvised and got clear masks for me. So that was a big plus. Yeah. All my friends are very supportive, and my community is very supportive towards me and my disability, because it is a disability, having hearing loss. But I used to be under impression that I'd get made fun of and bullied, but I have not. People have actually like, oh, that's cool, those colors are cool in your ears, and it's just something different, and I embrace that. I do not wear hearing aids during football because I've tried a lot, and pretty much the sweat, messes with them. I have sweat guards and stuff, but it still messes them. But I do know my coach and my teammates have improvised and helped me throughout like the game and during practice. I don't get yelled at too much. They just come up and tell me what I did wrong, and instead of getting yelled at a lot. And I know during football it's pretty tough, and the crowd's going wild, and I rely on my teammates a lot, and I'm very thankful that they're like they help me a lot.
Sorry, I think one of the most touching things that just warmed a mama's heart was this season, actually. He was playing center in football, first year of varsity. And the quarterback, I noticed, would clap every time it was time for the ball to snap. And it took me a few practices and a game to realize it was because Ryan couldn't hear the calls. And I had never seen that before. And then I asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, that's so I know it's time. I'm like, wow, just the extra effort that the coaches go through just to make sure everything's the way it needs to be. It's cool. It's really cool how the community rallies around it.
In baseball, I do wear my hearing aids, and they have been a big help because I have an edu-mic, and my coach likes to use that and helps me when I'm pitching. And a lot of things you gotta catch a lot of things because you gotta know when the outs are. And I believe I pay more attention during sports because I need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of my teammates have improvised and helped me.
When he's up to bat, the umpire will like tap him on the shoulder twice, or, when they're doing their how many balls, how many outs, they'll just tap him on the shoulder instead of calling it behind him.
Mm-hmm. And
Stuff
my
like
coaches,
that.
oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
My coaches are really good at telling the umps and the referees that I am hearing impaired, because it's tough because I don't really hear, sometimes I don't hear the balls and strikes, and I have to look back, and they know I'm not being like, disrespectful or rude. They just tell me what it is,
Oh man, I feel like they're part of our family in a way. I think they have had a huge hand in helping make Ryan who he is. I mean, they've taught him skills, they've taught him patience, and just given him a sense of what it means to help somebody. They helped him here, and they helped him be able to go to mainstream school, and got him the devices he needs to help him at school. Just that extra caring and extra effort to get him what he needs. I think that's really meant a lot to him and to us, and it makes you want to pay it forward.
I believe it's it's made a big impact on everybody that I've known and me also. I believe that if you have hearing loss, you should get it checked, and it's just been so helpful, and I don't know what I'd do without it.
I would tell him just not be afraid of it. It's going to turn out to be something wonderful. I think he's who he is because of the hearing loss. And our mantra at home has always been, no excuses for anything. Try your hardest, do your best, and you will be something great. And the hearing loss has been no exception. We've always taught him that it's just a hurdle. It's not going to ruin things. He's wonderful with or without hearing loss. So I think it's made him a better student, a better person. He's more compassionate towards others because of the compassion he's received. I think he has so much more empathy. You're going to get me teary-eyed. So much more empathy just because of the way people have treated him. So I'd just give him a big hug and tell him it's going to be okay. Your kid's going to be great.